Is there a storm brewing within the Windy City that could shake the very foundations of our beloved Bears? Have you felt the whispers of impending change vibrating through Soldier Field's storied stands, as if the ghosts of greats past are conspiring with the winds of fate? What if, just what if, this team emboldened by new leadership stares down the precipice of a seismic shift that could redraw the map of the NFC North? Rumors are swirling relentlessly through Hollis Hall as if fueled by some otherworldly essence. Insider intel declares that a palpable tension hangs in the air, with the potential for dramatic upheaval that could send shockwaves reverberating throughout the league. If the buzz holds true, the hierarchy in our division may never look the same again. We're more than just another rebuilding franchise. We are the Chicago Bears, weary spectators to nearly 2 decades of disappointments, and our aspirations ride on shoulders built for greatness. And at the heart of this swirling storm, a name that has ignited debates among fans and analysts alike. A player whose mere mention sends chills down the spines of opposing offenses. T.J. Watt. Just imagine it, an elite pass rusher, a force of nature, joining forces with Montez Sweat, morphing our front line into an indomitable wall of fury that could turn the tide against any quarterback in the league. The thought alone is intoxicating, stirring within us the echoes of playoff heartbreaks from 06 and 18, ensnaring our hearts with the never-surrender spirit, reminiscent of legends like Ehrlicher and Peyton. This could be the moment we unearth the Lombardi Trophy from its long-lost resting place and plant it firmly in the East, transforming January hope into February glory. But with every silver lining comes a cloud of uncertainty. What if such a game-changing signing jeopardizes the chemistry that our newer players are slowly cultivating? What if the spotlight fixes too brightly on one individual, drowning out the collective roar of teamwork that has been bubbling to the surface? Could this spell disaster instead of destiny, igniting a frenzy that throws us off balance as we march toward the promised land? And as this tantalizing possibility dances on the horizon, imagine what could unfold if Watt arrives in the Windy City. Can we withstand the tectonic shift it would create, propelling us into a wild off-season filled with unanswered questions and exhilarating potential? Because if that domino falls, it might just unleash the wildest Bears offseason this city has ever seen, and we'll all be here, breathlessly watching as the saga unfolds. But dig a little deeper, and the stakes grow even sharper, because this wouldn't just be a flashy signing. It would be a direct declaration of war against the Packers, against the Vikings, against every rival who's watched us trip on our own legacy. Picture the NFC North next season, not as a battleground, but as a stage where Chicago finally reclaims its voice, not in whispers of rebuilds and patience, but in the roar of blitzes, sacks, and turnovers that shake stadium walls. Imagine Lambeau, field silenced by a Watt-Sweat combo devouring quarterbacks on 3rd down. Imagine Kirk Cousins flustered, scrambling, hearing footsteps that feel like freight trains. And in the midst of it all, imagine Justin Fields standing taller, not just because the defense gives him chances, but because the entire franchise radiates a new ruthless identity. The psychological shift alone will be massive young rookies, walking into Hollis Hall with eyes wide, realizing they're sharing turf with legends in the making. It changes everything: how you train, how you think, how you bleed. But here's the thing we don't talk about enough. What if we don't pull the trigger? What if we hesitate, let the chance slip by, and watch him land somewhere else, say Detroit or Philly, only to haunt us when it matters most? Can we stomach another almost season? Another year of what-ifs and moral victories? Because signing Watt isn't just about talent, it's about symbolism. It's a message to every fan who still wears the orange and navy through the bitter winters and gut-punch Sundays. We're done waiting. And yet, even within that dream, the fear creeps in: will the front office stay bold? Or will budget fears and cultural caution dull the edge of our ambition? Will egos in the locker room adapt to a Watt-level presence? Or will quiet fractures start to form beneath the surface? You can feel it, the uncertainty, the potential, the raw tension of a franchise staring at the edge of transformation. So, ask yourself, Bears fans, if that phone rings, if that deal is on the table, if destiny dares us to believe again, do we take the leap? Or do we sit frozen, watching greatness walk right past us? Because history only remembers the bold. And the roar of Soldier Field deserves to echo not with regret, but with the triumphant screams of a team that finally chose to rise. Rise and shine, Bears fans. Who's with me? Shout out your battle cries, because as history has shown, we're not just fans. We're warriors in a never-ending fight against the tides of disappointment that have washed over us like a winter chill at Soldier Field. I can feel the weight of decades pressing on our shoulders, the echoes of 2010 when a single missed opportunity slipped through our fingers, the harsh reminder of 2018's double doink, the cries of, "This has to be our year," punctuated by the thud of reality as it crashed down like a frozen lake in January. Now, as we sit on the precipice of another season, with what feels like hope stirring in the air but doubt tightening around our hearts like a vice, we must ask ourselves if this is the moment we rise from the ashes, or are we just poised for another painful plunge into mediocrity? Because let's face it right now, the tension is palpable. We've got our young quarterback, the face of hope, grinding away in practice, listening to whispers of potential that echo in the corners of Hollis Hall. But what if that potential is just a mirage, a fleeting glimpse of what could have been? Picture the locker room. How many of the seasoned veterans know they might not get another shot at glory? You can feel that urgency crawling under the skin, igniting quiet conversations. In corners, eyes darting away when dreams are mentioned. And with every front office call made, every scouting report dissected, nothing is as clear as the mirror that reflects the pasturage with legends like Singletary and Ehrlicher, palpitating with the glories of Hester's electrifying returns. Those warriors weren't held back by uncertainty. They changed the narrative, forged the identity of this franchise with blood, sweat, and grit. But here we are now, grappling with the memories of the 1985 Super Bowl triumph splattered in history and the excruciating losses of 2006, dragging us back into the depths of despair, with the ghost of 2010 lurking in the shadows and the phantom of 2018 knocking on the door. Are we sliding back into that spiral of despair? Or have we finally found a way out from beneath the rubble of our once glorious legacy? The Chicago Bears' choices dance on a razor's edge, hauntingly juxtaposed with the rich legacy. Decisions, made and unmade, echo across the decades. Now imagine if we take a leap of faith, embrace a rebuild that ignites the roaring spirit of our franchise. Or if we find ourselves trapped yet again in the cold grip of the NFC North, wasted potential, spreading out like a scar across our hearts. As I'm here pacing in this bar, I can almost hear the cries of our rivals, the Packers lapping up the taste of our uncertainty, the Vikings plotting how to exploit our weakness, the Lions licking their lips at the thought of yet another comeback. At our expense, we've lived through it all. You could feel the doubt creeping in like lake wind off Soldier Field in December, penetrating every last bit of confidence we've built since childhood. But isn't that what it means to be a Bears fan? To cling to our hopes even as the clouds pile high and dark above us. We're stuck in this loop, wondering if we will ever rise again. Will this new era shatter the chains of our misfortune, or will it slip through our fingers like ice melting in the brutal Chicago sun? My fellow fans, the battle is far from over. We cannot abandon hope, for hope is the lifeblood of our fandom, our spirit, our very identity. So here we stand on the brink. But what comes next could define us. Will we venture forward with hearts wide open or shrink back into the shadows, terrified of failure? To all who can still feel that fire burning in their hearts, will you join me in challenging the silence with your passion, in demanding that our Bears rise from their ruins? Are we destined for another heartbreak, or is this the spark that ignites a new flame in our storied history? The question lingers, haunting yet beautiful. And now I have to ask, are we ready to embrace whatever comes next? Or will we let this moment pass, another lost chapter in our enduring saga.